Chantell Cleaver with Insureline.
No one wants to talk about insurance.
It's like it's expected. And if you don't give
Yeah.
it, you hear about like families like just falling apart.
There are 16 waterfalls from here to Ladysmith.
Did not know that.
I was going to say take chances, drive fast, but I mean, that's too much. It's too much.
It's also good.
It's also because that's how I do it.
We're back with another episode of Conversations with Kirk, and today conversing with Chantell Cleaver with Insureline. We are going to talk about all things insurance, so welcome, Chantell.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so fortunate that we get to work in the same office location. Your brokerage, well, actually, you've got two locations, right? So
Right.
just tell us a little bit about Insureline, where you're at, what you do, a little background.
So Insureline is a franchise model. There's actually about 50 offices across Canada, all independently owned. So when you call our office, you get, the owner that or people that are working locally with the realtors and that know our area. And so our place as a brokerage, working within the real estate offices, we're really one-on-one with the realtors, and it's more so like a hot lead and handoff on new purchases and that sort of thing. So it's really nice to be working within those offices.
It's super convenient for us, especially when we have clients coming in or they're already familiar with the office location, and then too, just to relay information. We have questions, or like it's super helpful in that sense for sure. But you don't just work with Royal LePage clients, right? You're working with everybody.
Oh yeah, everybody within the community. We have a lot of business right up and down the island. As you know, everything's online, and so, but primarily most of our business, we like to focus on the realtors. Yeah.
Now, another question is, I had this come up the other day. You're able to insure, like what's your like geographic, can you provide insurance for anywhere in BC, or?
Well,
are restricted, or
my license specifically is within BC, but being part of a bigger franchise model, they give you access to the big insurer model where they have access to worldwide markets and whatnot. So if I can't get it within my office, I'm part of a franchise model that can give me access.
So if I have somebody, I'm helping them sell their house here, and maybe they're moving down to Victoria, you can insure their house there, and no problems at all, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
you're not restricted in that sense.
No.
Cool. So how'd you get into the insurance business? Like what led up to that?
Well, actually, most people, when they get into the insurance industry, they fall into it. Okay. So, and it was no different with me. I was working, serving actually one day, and I got a call when I went home and had asked me to drop off a resume. So I did, and I was hired into insurance. I didn't even know what a deductible was, but that's how I kind of got into it. And then for Insureline specifically, I was in insurance for about 10 years, and then I broke away to become a realtor for a couple years, and then I decided to get back into insurance, and that's where I landed at Insureline.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're super happy that you did, because you're excellent at what you do. You have a great team there.
Thank you.
So and it's not just you, right? You've got other team members that are working behind the scenes.
Yeah, we've got Emma. Everybody knows Emma. Mm-hmm. Hi, Emma. And we work with head office, and we work with other people remotely on Vancouver Island.
Okay. Now, in terms of types of insurance, like I know for us in our office, it's residential home insurance, but do you provide other types of insurance as well?
Yes, we out of our office specifically insure anything essentially other than life insurance and car insurance. So
right.
Yeah.
So you do because
we're commercial. We do like Corsa Construction, COCs, and all that, and personal obviously, and
we have our Sea-Doos are insured through your
that's
office
correct.
as
Do
well.
the toys.
So boats and that. So it's convenient for everything. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. And it's super exciting. I know, and you were mentioning earlier, we were chatting before we started that, our brokerage and working with high level people that are doing lots of business and that, it's a great environment, and our brokerage is #1 in Canada now, so we've won that award.
Yeah.
And so is that an advantage for you to be with a thriving
Absolutely
brokerage?
To be surrounded with excellence every day. I don't know what's wrong with that. No, it's great. It's such a smooth transaction with the client, the realtors, and working at the level of professionalism that Royal LePage brings, especially the Oceanside, Parksville, Qualicum Island Living location. It's honestly, it's such a pleasure at this stage in the game in my career, for sure.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's awesome having you around. Now, in terms of, let's get into the actual sort of the timeline of obtaining insurance, because for us, if we're representing a buyer purchasing a property, it's become quite standard now for us to have that subject to the buyer obtaining insurance for the property. Is it most common that people are waiting to reach out, or is there anything that they should do even before they write an offer, or is get the accepted offer in place first, then reach out to you and get the information specific to the property?
You can always call me. You can always call me. Like I get calls even when the realtors are at the property with a buyer, sending me pictures of, is this poly B, does this need a WETT certificate, whatnot, or I'll get questions regarding water tables and certain sort of coverages in areas where the water table might be higher, or and so running a quote to see if what limits are being offered. So any time really, is a good time, but say you have the accepted offer and there's a subject of insurance in there and you haven't done the inspection yet, just make the introduction and have them reach out, because that way the ball's in our court and we have no problem tracking them down for any information needed.
What's a typical turnaround time from the time that you get the information about the property and the buyers have contacted you, you've got the property information? How long should we be allowing for them to, expecting an answer or a potential quote?
Respectfully?
Yeah.
Well, there's always the Friday 5 o'clock, which is fine too. That's always going to happen. But at least a couple days so we can be thorough. But if we're under the gun and pressure and you just need like one quote, and we don't give you a quote under I would have to say I could have something done in 25 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then once you provide a quote, how long is that quote for? Because sometimes, the sale's not completing for
as a general rule. As a general rule, about 30 days.
30 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And that leads to, we'll talk right now a little bit about when it is, summertime, wildfire season, and there is a risk of a potential fire starting up. If somebody has their insurance, they've reached out to you prior to, and then a fire starts, are they at risk of losing their insurance, or how can they be certain that their sale won't be held up because of a fire?
Well, that's where we say contact us right away, because provided we have the lending information and all the information we need, we can bind that policy right away. So whether there's a fire in place or not, and as long as we're ensuring there is no fire within the 25, 50 kilometers, whatever the restrictions are for that company, it's always best to just get it done right away. Right.
So once they have, and you call it like binding the policy, once you're at that position, then they're good for at least 30 days. You say, like, if
when you quote it, that's the 30 days.
Okay.
When you bind it, that means it's in, like,
it's locked in.
It's locked in. Once you get a policy number, it's locked in. Yeah.
Okay, so you bind it, fire starts 2 days later, they don't have to worry about.
That's right, because the policy might not be effective for 2 or 3 weeks from there. So.
And people don't realize this, but I think the problem for a lot of people, especially if they have financing, that the bank won't fund their purchase unless the insurance is bound.
Well, and that's the thing, right? No one wants to talk about insurance. Nobody wants to, but in all reality, if there's a lender, it's not the financing that usually would break the deal at the end. It's the insurer, really, because if you can't insure the property, no one's going to give you any money. Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of buyers, they forget. So we'll put in regular conditions and timelines and tell them at the start, okay, you need to reach out and get insurance, and then subject removals on a Friday, and we will call in and say, so did you get your insurance? And then that's when you get the last minute
and
call,
everyone gets the eye roll, insurance, but honestly, that's why you got to get to know your broker. And if you have the ability to actually know who your broker is, that's a bonus these days. So,
are there any challenges specific to our location, like Parksville, Qualicum, that you experience here, or that you're dealing with, or getting exceptions for, that maybe other areas wouldn't deal with? Is there anything that comes to mind in that sense?
Earthquake's always an issue. But not so for our area, but maybe more south.
Right.
Yeah. So, but that's been an ongoing issue for 20 years.
Right.
And will continue to be. So, but no, nothing. I can't really think about our area. We have a lot of wood stoves. So
the general requirement, they have their WETT certification, and they meet the guidelines for that.
Yes.
Is there an expiry on, like, does that WETT inspection, that WETT certificate, have to be within a certain time? Like, can it how old can it be, or does it matter?
It really depends on the insurer and, you know, if it's being regularly maintained and whatnot, because there's a questionnaire that comes with it as well. So once that goes under review, but if I would have to say, like, it's safe to say every 7 to 10 years, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Because it used to be shorter, and now it seems like it's, they're
That's what I mean, right?
ones.
Like, I noticed that even for myself, that it used to be shorter, and now I find that they're giving longer.
Now I've had two different answers on this, and I have not asked you about this, but clients have told me. So purchasing a house that has a wood stove within the home, and it is not, it's old and it's not WETT certified, and it can't be, but it's still sitting there in the house.
It's a liability.
And they say, oh, it's okay. We're not going to use it. We can still get insurance.
You got to get it out. You got to get it out.
Okay.
So and you got to get it out. You got to cap it off and show that it's been decommissioned.
They can't just say, we're just not going to use it.
We're not going to use it. Or you can JB weld it shut, but it depends on the insurer and what they want.
It cannot be usable at all.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's kind of something that I know I've had clients say that, oh, no, it's okay. And I'm like, I have heard differently.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, same thing, same kind of scenario. In terms of the poly B plumbing, so we got the gray water lines that were used to supply in the house, and typically late 80s to about 97 is what we're looking at. So that has been definitely a hot topic, and the general consensus in the real estate world is if you have poly B, you better get it changed out, or you have to change it out, and buyers are demanding that that it needs to get changed out. But are there insurance options for a buyer to purchase a home with poly B and still be able to complete and bind insurance, or is this something like, if they do that, is the insurance company saying, hey, you have to get this changed out within so many days? Or
I'm going to definitely say, like, the trend is that it needs to be removed. And absolutely, there are like a couple of insurers that will insure the homes, right?
Yeah.
With the poly B, but then you're going to get all these restrictions that it's, you know, any water damage resulting from poly B is not covered. So then you take a look at losses in general and you go, okay, well, what are the chances of me even having a loss? Well, it's over 50% water related.
Right. Most of the time it's
so water. If that's water coming in or water going out, you know, you just want to, nobody wants to make a claim. It's not fun living in a claim.
What if they have, so instead of changing out the poly B, have a monitoring system and a shutoff? Is that as acceptable as changing it all out, or what's kind of still what's best?
The poly B is one of those things. It's not if, it's when, right? It's going to break down. And yes, it's always great to have the water sensors, right, and the automatic shutoffs. But I mean, I think there's one insurer out there right now that'll accept that.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, where the trend is going is just change it out.
Is the cost of insurance quite a bit higher than if we're going with a house that has poly B versus not, or does it make much difference? No.
They would just kind of more so look at it and say, okay, well, because if we look at insurance is for sudden and accidental. So if we know poly B breaks down, well, that's not something that's accidental or sudden, right?
Right.
So that's how they can look at it.
Well, and for lenders, a lot of it is the fire portion that they are concerned with more so than the water portion, right? For a lender. So, because they're looking at total loss versus a water leak, we're typically not losing the whole house.
That's right.
Right? And whereas a fire, it can be total loss. So,
that's right.
So you could still have an acceptable insurance policy for a lender, even if it had a restriction on it for poly B, correct? Or non-coverage for some water. Okay. Okay, well, that's good. I think that definitely clears up some things there.
Now, it's going to get flooded with poly B questions, eh?
Yeah. Well, it is.
It's all good.
I think a lot of clients and customers now, for us too, are they're now aware and they know that it's an issue and things are getting changed out. The cost of changing it out has come down a bit too because some of these plumbers are getting really good at it. So that is good. Now, in terms of, say, I know some people are like, well, you know, where they get their insurance from, like whether they say deal with their bank or private or with someone like you. What's the advantages of dealing with a brokerage like yourself when it comes to gaining insurance?
Well, we shop it, right? So versus going to some of the companies that just issue the one product, right? You're not getting a plethora of anything. So when it comes to renewals, there's really no negotiation on premium and that sort of thing. Whereas we can shop it for the best rates, and that's what being a broker is, right? So by coming to our office, I mean, you're definitely always going to get someone that you know and that you've spoken to before versus a call center. So, yeah.
One other question that comes up sometimes is too, okay, now if a house, we got a house and it's got a suite, does it make a difference if that suite is permitted and authorized, legal, versus the mother-in-law type unauthorized suite in terms of insurance coverage?
The actual insurance coverage, yes, it does change things a little bit because we have to think about common doors and that sort of thing, vandalism, mysterious disappearance and whatnot. And then when we look at the actual rebuilding, those permits would have had to be in place because
so you wouldn't be able to replace it.
Right. Yeah.
So it could
it would be replaced. Like it would be replaced. I mean, provided that it was an insured loss. But that's where subrogation comes in, right?
All right. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, that's good. Those, I think we've hit the main.
I know. I feel like I've really been all insurance.
And you've got very good answers. So that's good. You know your stuff. All right, let's switch to real life, more fun stuff, fun questions.
One of the questions was, where do I have lunch or where do I go?
What's your favorite spot? What's your go-to when you're not?
Oh man, I'm all over the place. I'd have to say, are we talking coffee?
Sure,
if we're talking coffee,
let's do coffee first.
French press.
In Parksville or Qualicum?
Both. It depends because sometimes one is louder than the other, right? And I actually know when they are louder. One is louder than the other.
You got a specific.
I know, and Creek Morris is good too. So it just depends on who you're meeting. If it's a realtor, certain client and whatnot. But those are my coffee spots.
It's interesting. French press comes up as a favorite spot more than any other place that people.
It's hopping. That's what I mean. You got to know the time of day and which one to go to. Yeah.
So when you go there, what's your favorite? Like, do you have is there a treat that you're having or a certain coffee that's like why? What gets you? What takes you there? They must have something.
It's the environment.
Okay.
It's the environment. They have great sandwiches. And I just always order a regular drip coffee. I'm very boring, but
drip coffee. Are you putting anything in that coffee or
no? Sometimes if it's a treat, half sugar, 1 milk.
Okay. Yeah. So you keep it simple.
Yeah.
All right. And now what about you're going out for dinner locally? Do you have a favorite when it comes to that?
Dinner. Well, I'd have to say lunch. The favorite place to go in Parksville would probably be the Bayside for the view.
Oh,
when I'm taking clients or reps out, right?
Yes, that's my go-to.
That's where it's at.
And
and then if we're doing more of an evening, meeting reps or clients, whatnot, Beach Club is really, really nice. The QBC or Qualicum Beach Cafe in Qualicum, if I'm in Qualicum. And I mean, I definitely hop around even from Cedars.
We do have a lot of good options for sure.
We have a lot of great options. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now, getaway. What are you doing in the evenings? Are you do you have some hobbies? You adventure? Where are you going to just get away or quick trips here and there? What's your favorite thing to do or pastime?
Well, I don't know if you know this, Kirk, but there are 16 waterfalls from here to Ladysmith.
I did not know that.
Now you know.
Okay, a waterfall expert.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
So I have quite a few friends that like to hike and that sort of thing. So definitely getting out in nature, I love doing that. And when I'm not at a lake or a river or the ocean, I'm usually at kickboxing at Black Rock Martial Arts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's that located?
That's located in the industrial park.
Here in Parksville?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, cool. Okay. I did not know that there were that many waterfalls nearby. Yeah. What are the top two that are that we got to go see if we haven't seen?
The top two is the one I just saw this past weekend at the south end of Nanaimo. It's Culinary Dam.
Okay.
I can't remember. I have to look up the spelling of it. And of course, there's always the Englishman River.
Englishman River. Yeah. Okay. I have been to that one.
Yeah. A few times. Yeah.
Well, cool. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we're moving here now to Walper Wisdom. Every week I give some wisdom. I hope that you have some to share as well. But this is my Walper Wisdom for this week. And I heard this, actually I read it online not that long ago. And it was posted and it said, stop asking and expecting discounts from your closest friends and family. Pay full price to those people that you're closest with. And if you're going to get a discount, get it from somebody that you don't know who isn't, going to be directly connected to you. So I heard that and I was like, you know what, that's awesome. Like way better, because I get the friends and family discount or whatever you expect. It's like it's expected. And if you don't give it, you hear about like families like just getting like falling apart because somebody didn't give someone else a deal.
Totally. Everybody's full price from now on.
Yeah,
Nobody
there
gets
we
a
go.
deal.
No deals. No deals for friends and family. Yeah. Support, pay full price. So anyways, that's my wisdom for this week. Do you have something that you wanted that you can share?
Wisdom, I don't know. When I thought about this, I didn't know if I was coming at it from the insurance perspective or a personal perspective. So, insurance perspective, wisdom is, your insurance policy is not a maintenance policy. So always keep that in mind, and with your updating and that sort of thing, that's one of the biggest things with insurance. Personally, I don't know, just take chances, enjoy the moment. I don't really have anything else after that.
Well, that's pretty good. Take chances, enjoy the moment.
I was going to say take chances, drive fast, but that's too much.
It's also good.
It's also because that's how I do it.
Okay, awesome. Just before we end, if someone wants to reach out to you or Insureline, what's the best way to do that?
Best way to do that is you can always call our office, 778-716-2790, or we can be reached on our general email, which is islandliving@insureline.com.
Okay.
And we're in the Parksville and Qualicum Royal LePage locations.
Right.
So if you're wanting to stop in.
Regular business hours?
We're 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. If we have to pop in on a Saturday to wrap something up, we do that too. So.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, very good. Well, thank you so much, Chantell.
Thanks for
this was a
having
lot
me.
of fun and great information.
Good.
And you definitely know your stuff. So thank you.